Before I get started with this commentary, I have to give a shout out to two YouTubers in particular. The first person I have to shout out is Jay Lethal, because he was the person that I actually first heard about talk about this particular topic, and it was a quick 1-minute video about it. It didn't really go into too much depth about it, but he was the first person I saw speak on this. And I also have to give a shout out to Lovely T, because of course when she got wind of it, she went of course a little bit more in detail about it. And it's amazing how she was able to cram all of that in like a 6-minute commentary. But here we are again talking about Billy Porter, and he is wearing something that is probably reminiscent to the very first commentary that I've ever done on my channel about him. And that's him wearing this black gown that he wore at the Oscars last year? I think it was the Oscars last year when he wore this, or was it the Grammys? I can't remember. It was one of those award ceremonies, and he wore this. But notice something right here. It says Sesame Street. Now you're probably wondering, why do you see Sesame Street up there? Well, it's because Sesame Street has now included an episode in their 51st season of its show where Billy Porter will make an appearance on the show. Now, I don't know what he's going to do. I really don't care what he's going to do. However, I know that the agenda yet again is being pushed. It says Billy Porter bringing those fierce vibes to Sesame Street, and they put a fire emoji behind it. Hashtag season 51. And as you can see, he's standing right there in front of the iconic doorway for Sesame Street. He has a picture with Elmo. I'm not sure if that's Gonzo in that picture in the second one, and then another one of him sitting down wearing the gown. This is the same exact gown that he got a lot of, I guess you can say, for some praise and from others, a lot of controversy. And of course, you know, he posted it up onto his social media account, and he's basically talking about making history and everything like that. I've told people plenty of times before that Billy Porter is nothing more than an attention whore. He's basically like the T-class version of a Kardashian. Let's just put it that way, because you know them Kardashians crave the attention. That's how they make their bread and butter. And this is how he's doing his, although he has acting credits next to his name. Now, let me do a little bit of backstory. Sesame Street, this isn't the first time they've had a Alphabet Academy angle on their show. But this time they're really going full throttle with it, because it's going outside of their Muppet characters. And let me explain what I mean. There was always this running joke that Bert and Ernie were homosexual Muppets, that they weren't so-called best friends or they weren't brothers or anything like that, however they tried to put it, or they weren't family members. And then they actually put it out there a couple years ago that yes, that they were indeed part of the Alphabet Academy. Then last year I did a video talking about how they introduced a new I take that back. I was about to go into another subject. It was that character I was thinking about was the opioid one. Scratch that. But back to the Bert and Ernie one. Yeah, there was always hints that they were part of the G class in the Alphabet Academy. And then they kind of came out with it and said that they were. And when I was watching the video that Lovely T did, it showed a clip where you had two life-size versions of Bert and Ernie, I guess at some pride parade, walking down the street or something like that. And then they kissed each other and was holding up a piece of paper that was supposed to be a makeshift marriage license or a marriage certificate, which is something I've never seen before. Basically insinuating that, yes, they are a quote unquote couple. Now you have this with Billy Porter, where you have someone who we know is definitely, he's practically trying to be the headmaster of the Alphabet Academy at this point. Kind of looks like it too with this gown on. But if you remember a video I also did about Billy Porter last year, he said something that rubbed a lot of us the wrong way, where I guess he was upset that a lot of people were criticizing him for what he was doing. And rightfully so, we have our rights to critique this man's behavior because we see it for what it is. But he doesn't see it because he's living that lifestyle. but he's being very extra with it, and to the point where he doesn't care, but he also doesn't care about the repercussions. And let me explain to you what I mean. He said that when he got wind that people were saying he was trying to emasculate little boys, particularly little black boys, especially since he's a black man himself. And he says, well, people are out there saying out there that I'm trying to emasculate little boys. He said, maybe, in so many words, he said, maybe I am. Maybe that's what I'm here to do, as if he's going to wave his little wand around. And I think he did say something like that, and make all the little boys, quote unquote, homosexual. And we was like, whoa. He said that. Now, if y'all was following me for this long, since then, y'all remember, because I played the audio and you heard it with your own ears like I heard it with my own ears. And he said that. And now all of a sudden he ends up on Sesame Street with this little spot wearing the same gown that he wore about a year ago. But it shows you right there what Hollywood will accept when it comes to a black man's image. Remember, I said in a live stream, black men, especially black heterosexual men, have to be the gatekeepers of our image, because if not, you're going to have stuff like this running around here. Now, also, when I was watching Lovely T's video, she had highlighted 2 people who were a part of the G class in the Alphabet Academy. And even they said on their social media accounts that he was doing a bit much. He said that something like this should be reserved, maybe, just for adults, or maybe some pride event, or some kind of, for what he wore this for, which was for a red carpet event, or something geared towards older individuals, not to children, because Sesame Street is a children's program. And by the way, I hold Sesame Street just as accountable for this, because they were the ones that actually allowed this to, they actually reached out to him, but Billy Porter could have said no. But see, this goes right back into what he said, that he's going to try to emasculate as many little black boys as he possibly can. He didn't say no. He gleefully said yes, because he says he's making history. He always says stuff with the whole thing of, I'm going to make history. I'm going to make history. And it always leads back to his sexual orientation. It never goes to the fact of him being a black man. This is a black man right here who leads with his sexuality first, before he leads with his race. And that is one major issue many people in the black community have, is when people lead with their sexuality first, especially those who are in the Alphabet Academy. There are no James Baldwins out here. There are a lot of Bayard Rustins running around this place. He is that. He's like the embodiment of a Bayard Rustin. I'm sure Bayard Rustin probably wishes he could have done what Billy Porter is doing today. But of course, back then that would have been heavily frowned upon. We all know that J. Edgar Hoover did it, but he did it in the confinement of his home. But as long as Billy Porter continues to parade himself in this way, they're going to constantly give him opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, no matter how many of us call out this behavior. Like I said, it's even gotten to the point where some of their biggest champions, being women, particularly black women, are even starting to call out this behavior and saying, okay, this is not funny anymore. It's not even a joke at this point. Like, this is getting serious. Like, you are doing this on a program that's catered to kids. He couldn't go in there and maybe talk about the Alphabet Academy wearing a suit. And I'm talking about a suit that's more geared towards men. If he wanted to do that, fine. If they wanted to introduce a little small part about him and his lifestyle, or maybe addressing kids who may be going through something, fine. But he has to do this in a whole ballroom gown that he wore over a year ago. And he's proud of that. He doesn't care. And then you'll have some people saying, well, if he doesn't care, why should you care? It's because it's indoctrinating little kids. It kills me when I see other grown people actually amen this behavior. And some of these individuals don't even have kids. or they may not even be in the Alphabet Academy. I would expect to hear that from people who are part of that academy rather than people who are not. But I'm hearing it more from people who are not. And of course, again, it's mostly women who are doing this. And I've already talked about this. I said it when I did that video about Essence. And ironically, the 5 quote unquote women, and they're not even women, who supposed to be highlighted as black women for their little event for Essence, are all a part of the same show that he's on. That Pose show. See how all that shit is connecting? But when you champion this behavior, don't ask where all the men at. Especially if you have little boys watching this show and they get indoctrinated and they go out and say, oh, you know what? Maybe I want to go wear a dress like that guy did. He wears one. Maybe I can. Well, there goes your daughter's future mate, possibly. Because you said it was okay. But it's real spooky out here nowadays. It's real spooky. I kept trying to tell people it starts one way, then it keeps on progressing and going and going and going like that damn Energizer Bunny, and it doesn't stop. Like I said, every time I do a video about Billy Porter, something else comes up about him. But this one is really taking it too far. It's almost like he spoke this into fruition when he did that interview. I don't know when he did. I don't know. It was probably last year when he says he's going to try to emasculate as many little boys as he can. Now he's on the streets of Sesame, which caters to little kids, one of them being little boys. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure to follow me on Twitter if you haven't done so already. Have your notifications turned on, and I will talk to you in the next one.